New poll, New York Times, lefties' heads exploding everywhere because Trump winning 5 of the 6 battleground states. If that's the case, he wipes Biden off the map.
If that's the case, he would have a 300 electoral vote win. You only need 270 to win. It would be an absolute landslide. And all those states, the 5 of the 6 critical swing states, Joe Biden won in 2020. So this is a complete swing the other way towards Trump, where now he's beating Biden by up to 10 points, 6 points, 5 points, 4 points in these states that Biden won just a few years ago. The enormous swing in Trump's favor is undeniable, and Democrats should be deeply concerned. This is as close to a 5-alarm fire as you can get in electoral politics. Their only comfort right now is, well, those same voters said that if Trump actually gets convicted of a crime before Election Day, that might change their vote. Okay, first of all, we'll see. We don't know whether that's true at all, because for 8 years now, we've had if it could just, then Trump would, if he would just, then Trump would definitely, and he never does go away, right? So don't put a lot of stock in that. And secondly, what we're seeing in these polls is the more they throw at him, the stronger he gets. So I'm actually not even sure that, whereas normally they wouldn't vote against a convicted felon, that rule is going to apply necessarily if it actually happens to Trump. Anyway, the numbers are absolutely devastating, to the point where David Axelrod, the guy who got Barack Obama elected twice, came out explicitly in writing on X talking about how it is time for Joe Biden to step aside. He's got to do the soul searching. He has to have private conversations in the residence of the White House with Jill Biden and talk about whether he is doing this for his ego or for the country, because he doesn't want his legacy to be handing the White House back to Donald Trump.
What is extraordinary, again, inside the polls, and there's polls within the polls and data within the polls, and it's been fascinating to watch Democrats try to find the way to say, oh, all of this doesn't really count. And particularly on MSNBC, they have gone nuts about this, the result when it comes to the economy. That, well, the economy's doing okay and President Biden's doing great and Bidenomics works. The reality is that, as you know, this poll says that a huge number of Americans say that Biden's policies have directly hurt them. So you've got this idea of sort of the people who've got a shed load of money talking on television, who sit back and talk about everything at the macro level, but the micro level where normal people live, they say, you know what, I hated the tweets, I couldn't stand a lot of the crazy, but I had a better life under the orange man.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right. Biden is out there calling it Bidenomics. It's just like the American dream. And everyone is sitting at home not being able to afford a gallon of milk saying, it doesn't feel like the American dream. Why do I feel so bad if things are going so well? The inflation that we've been suffering over here since he took office and spent trillions recklessly, despite the warnings that doing so at a time when he just took office, when we didn't need that for COVID relief, and we're already some $6 trillion into the hole on all the spending, made no sense whatsoever. He did it, and the effects of it were felt almost immediately. At the same time, he was rolling back all of our independence when it came to energy, making us more reliable on foreign government sources, putting us in the Chinese hands when it comes to wind, when it comes to solar, not allowing us to drill to take care of ourselves. Gas prices went through the roof. People are still reeling from that. You make $50,000 a year or $65,000 a year, you count every penny. It doesn't, just because gas prices have gone down since a year and a half ago, doesn't mean you've instantly recovered, especially with this inflation that's been baked in for so many years. Yes, it's come down, but it's still much higher than it was when Trump was president, and people feel it. So it's some 17% of the electorate says they feel the change negatively under Joe Biden economically, and some 18% said they felt it positively under President Trump. So it's an exact, opposite swing of voters who say, this guy stinks, this guy made my life better. And that's why Trump is beating Biden when it comes to the economy by a margin of 59 to 37. Voters trust Trump over Biden on the economy, and it's not going to change. By the way, the epilogue to that is nearly 2 times as many voters say that economic issues will determine their vote versus social issues. So it's the number one issue for voters, and Trump is winning by a 20-point margin.